I'm Daniel, 34, and my wife Emma is 32. We've been together almost 10 years, married 7, classic. We met in college, shared cheap pizza and student loans, upgraded to a mortgage and joint back pain story. If you asked me a year ago, I would have said our marriage was good. Not perfect, not movie-level romantic, but real. We had the usual arguments about dishes, whose turn it is to call the plumber, and why the laundry basket is apparently a decorative item and not a target zone. But overall, we were a team. She supported me when I changed jobs. I supported her when she went back to school. We had our inside jokes, our routines, our dumb little traditions like pancake Sundays and complain about work Fridays. And then the Freedom Circle appeared. Obviously, they didn't introduce themselves like Marvel villains. They started as a few new friends from my self-development group. That's literally how Emma said it. They're just some women from my self-development group. Don't be weird, she told me one evening while scrolling her phone and half eating a salad. Self-development group? I asked. So like a book club, but with extra crying? She snorted. No, it's like, we talk about boundaries, self-worth, feminine energy, all that. So, group therapy without a therapist? You're so basic, she rolled her eyes. It's more spiritual. That was the first red flag. Anytime someone says, it's more spiritual, I assume it's either a cult or an MLM. I wasn't totally wrong. The first one I met was Lisa. She introduced herself like I should already know her achievements. Emma invited her over for coffee on Saturday morning. I expected normal friend energy. You know, small talk, some jokes, maybe some harmless venting about life. Instead, this woman sat on our couch like a TED Talk with legs. She was in her late 30s, a little too put together for 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Perfect hair, perfect eyeliner, big confident posture. She had that, I've been through hell, but now I sell courses about it look. You must be Daniel. She smiled, shaking my hand a bit too firmly. I've heard so much about you. Hopefully at least 30% good, I said. She laughed, but in that way where you're not sure if she actually found it funny or just filed it under data. They talked in the kitchen for a while. I could hear parts of the conversation. Words like energy, alignment, inner truth. You deserve more. Every time I walked past for water, Lisa looked at me the way some people look at gluten. Later that evening, I asked Emma, so, what's Lisa's story? Emma shrugged. She went through a tough divorce. Her husband was very controlling. Like, actually controlling? Or he once said no to a third cat controlling? Emma gave me the shut up look. He monitored her phone, constantly criticized her, made her feel small. She finally left, and now she helps other women find themselves. Okay, I said. That's good she got out. But you know, just because her husband was controlling doesn't mean every man is, right? Relax, Emma said. We're just friends. Famous last words. It didn't stay just Lisa for long. Within a month there were 3 of them. Lisa, the divorced guru. Maya, the wild one, with a sleeve tattoo and a constant wine glass. Nora, quiet, but with that intense therapist stare that makes you feel like you accidentally confessed a crime. One night Emma came home all excited. We picked a name, she said, kicking off her shoes at the entrance. For what? Your band? I asked. She smirked. For our group. We're calling ourselves the Freedom Circle. I actually laughed. Okay, that sounds like either a support group or a rebel faction from a dystopian YA novel. You're mocking, she said, crossing her arms, but it's powerful for us. What do you guys do there? Plan to overthrow the patriarchy or just complain about husbands and eat hummus? She shrugged. We talk about our lives, our patterns, what we want. We help each other stop living just for other people. It's healing. Cool, I said, raising my hands. As long as you don't start chanting in the living room at 3 a.m., I'm fine. She smiled, walked over, and kissed me on the cheek. Don't worry, you're one of the good ones. Spoiler, the good ones category expires pretty fast in the Freedom Circle. It started small, more phone time, more group chats, more, "I'll be home late, we're doing a women's circle tonight." At first, I reacted normally. I mean, we all need friends. One week it was book recommendations, then podcasts, then healing sessions. She'd come home saying things like, "We did an exercise where we wrote letters to our past selves. We talked about how women are raised to overgive. We explored where we learned to ignore our own needs." All of that actually sounded fine, healthy even. I want my wife to have good self-esteem. I want her to have boundaries. I don't want a partner who secretly hates her life and me. But slowly the tone shifted. It went from, "I'm learning to say no," to, "Why do I always have to be the one compromising?" From, "I want more time for myself," to, "Maybe being a wife is just one of the roles I'm outgrowing." One night we were watching Netflix and she paused the show out of nowhere. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure. Do you think you own me?" I blinked. "I mean, I paid half the Netflix bill, but you're still allowed to use it when I'm not home, so I'd say no." She rolled her eyes. "I'm serious. Do you think of me as your wife or as a separate person?" "Both," I said. "Like, you're my wife, but also Emma, my legally wedded goblin Y." In our group, we talked about how marriage makes women feel like property, like an extension of their husbands. "Okay," I said slowly. "Do you feel like my property?" She hesitated. "Not always, but I realized how much of my life is built around you. Your work schedule, your needs, your goals. Sometimes I feel like my own life is just a side quest." "That's fair," I said after a moment, "but you can tell me if something is off, right? I'm not chaining you to the stove." "You say that," she frowned, "but you also like things the way they are." "You mean living together and not being divorced?" "Yeah, I'm kind of a fan." She sighed. "See? That's what I mean. For you, things the way they are comfortable. For me, I'm not sure." That was the first time I felt a small cold stone in my stomach. Not panic yet, just discomfort. A few weeks later, the Freedom Circle came over to our house for the first time. I came home from work and walked into what looked like an indie version of a Coven Candles. Incense, soft music, 3 women on my living room rug, sitting in a circle. "Hey, babe," Emma waved from the floor. "We're doing a visualization." "Cool," I said. "I'm doing a visualization too. I'm visualizing myself not tripping over all these crystals." Lisa smiled politely. "We're almost done. Don't worry. We're just releasing some old patterns." Maya smirked at me. "Yeah, like internalized patriarchy." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It was not a joke. They were talking about anchors. Apparently their new favorite metaphor was, men are anchors. Sometimes they keep you safe. Sometimes they keep you from moving at all. Lisa looked at Emma. "You've been doing the emotional labor for years. It might be time to ask what you want, without his noise." His noise. That was me. I was noise. You know that feeling when you're in your own house but somehow you're the outsider? That. Things escalated quietly. Emma started going to more meetings. Monday, women's circle. Wednesday, meditation workshop. Saturday, embodiment practice. Whatever that means. Because I still imagine people just flopping around like jellyfish. I tried to joke about it. "So, how was the cult tonight?" I'd ask with a grin. "It's not a cult," she snapped one evening. "Just because women are doing something without you doesn't mean it's a cult." "Do I get, like, a brochure at some point?" I asked, "just so I know if I'm supposed to wear matching robes." "You're being immature." "Probably," I said, "but you knew that when you married me." Her sense of humor didn't always show up anymore. Language. That's what really gave it away. My wife used to speak like a normal person. "Can you put the dishes in the washer? Don't forget we have dinner with my mom. Please stop leaving your socks like breadcrumbs." Now I started hearing things like, I don't have the capacity for this conversation right now. I won't outsource my emotional well-being to your mood. I'm not here to regulate your feelings. One night, we were brushing our teeth side by side, and she suddenly said, I realized something. I'm not responsible for your happiness. Foam in her mouth, toothbrush in hand, totally casual. I looked at her in the mirror. Okay, true, you're not fully responsible, but you're part of it, like I'm part of yours. That's the problem, she said, rinsing her mouth. I spent years trying to be your happiness. And I forgot who I am without that job. Job? I repeated. You see being my wife as a job description? Isn't it? She shot back. Cooking, cleaning, supporting, listening, adjusting. It's work. I stared at her. Emma, I also cook, clean, support, listen, and adjust. I just don't give it a LinkedIn title. She shook her head. You don't get it. I didn't. At least not yet. And then came the ring incident. It was stupidly simple. I was sitting in the kitchen, drinking coffee, scrolling the news. She was getting ready to meet the girls. She was dressed nicely, nothing crazy, just jeans, a blouse, that necklace I bought her for our 5th anniversary. She reached for her bag. Her hand brushed past the little bowl near the door where we sometimes left keys and coins and random junk. Something metallic jingled. I glanced over. Her wedding ring was lying in the bowl. We never took them off unless for something practical. The gym, cleaning something really gross, that one time I almost lost my finger in a toolbox incident and the doctor told me to chill. Hey, I said lightly, you forgot your ring. She froze for half a second. It was tiny, but I saw it. Then she turned, looked at the bowl, looked at me. No, she said. I didn't forget. My stomach dropped a little. Oh, okay. Did it shrink? Did we get divorced and I missed the email? Very funny, she sighed. It just feels heavy lately. I don't like how it feels on my hand. Isn't that the sign you're married? I asked. Slightly uncomfortable, but you keep it because it means something. She frowned. Why is a ring more important than how I feel? It's not more important, I said slowly. It represents us, our life. You know, vows, memories, all that cheesy stuff we cried about at the wedding. She looked annoyed. You're so dramatic. It's just metal. My commitment isn't in a ring. Okay, I nodded. So your commitment is… She glanced at the clock. I'm going to be late. We'll talk later, okay? Just answer one thing, I said quietly. Are you taking it off because it's uncomfortable? Or because the Freedom Circle decided rings are symbols of oppression or something? Her jaw clenched. You really don't respect anything I do with them, do you? I respect a lot of things you do, I said. I just don't respect people who call me an anchor they need to cut loose to find themselves. No one said that, she snapped. I raised an eyebrow. Lisa literally posted a quote last week. A husband is often just the anchor keeping you from setting sail into your real life. You liked it twice. She grabbed her bag. I'm not going to stand here and justify every like to you. I'm not asking you to. I'm just trying to figure out when we switched from us against the world to Emma and her Freedom Avengers versus the evil husband anchor. She stared at me for a second, eyes cold and tired. You're overreacting, she said finally. This is just a phase, a transformation. I need space to figure out who I am. And where do I fit in that? I asked. She opened the door. That's what I'm trying to find out. And then she left. The door closed gently, not slammed. Somehow that was worse. I sat there staring at the stupid little ring in the bowl. The symbol of our marriage now lived between a random key, 3 coins, and a mysterious screw. I still have no idea where it came from. I picked up the ring, turned it between my fingers, and had one of those very clear, very uncomfortable thoughts. I think my wife is being slowly coached out of our marriage, and I might be the last one to realize it. To be fair, I was wrong about one thing. They weren't slowly coaching her. They were efficient. I wish I could say things got better after the ring incident. They did not get better. They got season finale drama worse. A few days after the ring situation, Emma came home glowing not the "I bought a new plant" glow. It was the "I've been emotionally indoctrinated by a committee of divorced prophets" glow. I was on the couch, eating leftover pasta like a responsible adult. She dropped her bag, took off her shoes, and said, "The girls are having a small get-together on Saturday. I want you to come." I blinked. "You want me at a Freedom Circle event? Isn't that like inviting a cow to a vegan meeting?" She gave me the "stop being funny" face. "It's not a Freedom Circle event. It's just a party. Maya's birthday." Ah yes, Maya. The human wine bottle. The woman whose personality is 60% sarcasm, 40% old grudges. "All right," I said. "Should I bring something? Wine? A Bible? Protective gear?" "Just be yourself," she said, kissing me quickly. "They want to get to know you better." Yeah, they definitely wanted to get to know me better. In the same way nature documentary hosts want to get to know a gazelle before the lions show up Saturday arrives. Emma gets ready like she's auditioning for a perfume ad. New top, new perfume, new energy. Meanwhile, I look like a man going into a job interview for a position he didn't apply for. We drive to Maya's place, a loft with brick walls, Edison bulbs, and the overall vibe of, I'm healing from my divorce, but also I have disposable income. Inside, about 10 women, all variations of, I read self-help books aggressively. They turn as we walk in. Emma gets hugs. I get polite nods, like I'm the IT guy who arrived to fix their printer. Lisa walks up first. She smiles at Emma warmly, then turns to me with the enthusiasm of someone greeting a traffic cone. "Daniel, glad you could join us." "Yeah, I like birthdays," I said, "especially ones where I'm outnumbered 10-1. She didn't laugh. Off to a great start. Emma goes to grab drinks. I drift toward a corner. Classic survival strategy. Nora approaches. Nora is the quiet one. The one who stares at you like she's reading your childhood trauma off your face. She sips her drink and says, "How do you feel about Emma's growth lately?" Good?" I said, "Growth is good. Humans love growth. Trees do it. Kids do it. It's a whole thing." She nods slowly. "And do you feel intimidated by her evolution?" Intimidated? No. Slightly confused? Yes. Like she updated to iOS 16 and I'm still on iOS 9. She doesn't laugh either. What is it with these women? Do they have a no-laughing policy? Then it happens. The line. The moment where the evening transformed from awkward gathering into, "Oh cool, this is a plot twist." Emma is standing across the room, talking to a guy and two women. Yes, a guy, one of the few at the party. Tall, beard, bracelets, necklace. The whole soft spiritual lumberjack aesthetic. This is Leo, the men's emotional coach. I'm talking with a couple of Emma's acquaintances when Maya, birthday girl wine commander, walks over, holding a glass like it's a microphone. She looks straight at me and says loudly enough for half the room to hear, "You seem too calm for a man whose wife is about to leave him." The whole room goes quiet, like movie pause quiet. I blink once, twice. I look at Emma. She doesn't say, "What the hell, Maya?" She doesn't say, "Don't talk to my husband like that." She doesn't say anything. She just laughs. Not a full laugh. More like a soft exhale smirk. That tiny sound hit harder than a chair to the face. I force a smile. "Oh, don't worry," I say. "I'm only calm because I didn't realize we were doing stand-up. Should I do a set next?" A couple of random women giggle. Not Emma. On the drive home, silence. I wait until we're inside the apartment. Then I say calmly, "So, your friend basically announced our divorce like she's hosting the Oscars. Want to tell me what that was about?" She kicks off her shoes, avoiding eye contact. "Maya was joking. You always take everything so literally." "Right," I nod. The classic publicly humiliate my husband for fun joke. I've heard it kills at comedy clubs. She rubs her temples. Daniel, you are overreacting. It was just a comment. It was a comment, I agree. Just a comment your friends feel comfortable making because apparently they know something I don't. She sighs. You don't understand the process I'm going through. Process? What kind of process? Baking bread? Filing taxes? Preparing to leave me? Her eyes flash. See? This is why I don't talk to you. You turn everything into drama. I turn it into drama? I ask. Your friend literally predicted my abandonment like she saw it in a vision quest. She gets quiet, too quiet, and then she says it. This is a transformation phase. Not everything is about you. I stare at her. Well, forgive me for being slightly concerned that my wife is transforming into someone who laughs when people announce our imaginary divorce. She shakes her head and walks to the bedroom, and that was it. No explanation, no apology, no reassurance, just a door closing. The next morning she acted normal. Breakfast, coffee, casual small talk. But the ring was still off. And something else was too. Her messages. She used to text me throughout the day. Funny things, small updates, memes now. I'd get occasional short replies. And one afternoon while she was in the shower, her phone lit up. A preview message. Just a name, LEO, and a line. Let me know if you want to continue that conversation later. You seemed really open yesterday. My stomach twisted. I didn't open the phone. I didn't scroll. I didn't snoop. But in that moment, I realized two things. Whatever was happening, I was no longer part of her inner circle. Her new freedom circle wasn't just a hobby. It was a replacement. A replacement for support, for connection, for us. After the whole situation, I kept waiting for things to go back to normal. Spoiler, they did not. They went in the opposite direction of normal. The first thing I noticed was the phone behavior. Emma used to leave her phone everywhere. Kitchen counter, bathroom sink, in the bed sheets where it tried to assassinate me in my sleep now? She carried it like it was a newborn baby with separation anxiety. Always screen down, always on silent, always at arm's reach. One time I walked into the kitchen to get a glass of water. She was texting at lightning speed, and the moment she heard me, she tilted the phone away like she was hiding nuclear codes. I said, can I help you? She stared at me. Do you need something? Yeah, water. She squinted. Do you need the water here? Where else would I need water? The attic? She sighed dramatically, stood up, still clutching her phone like it was a newborn kitten that couldn't be left unsupervised. She put it on the counter while she poured herself water, screen up, bright as a lighthouse. I wasn't even looking at it, but the phone buzzed. Just once, screen lit up, and I swear I didn't touch it. The preview flashed on its own. Leo, you deserve space to grow. Don't let guilt shrink you again. Ah yes, fantastic. I'm officially guilt. What an honor. I went to the living room pretending absolutely nothing was happening, like a supportive husband who is not, in fact, being slowly voted out of his own marriage by a committee of spiritually confused divorce survivors. That Friday, I came home early and walked into the house expecting emptiness. What I got instead was all members of the Freedom Circle sitting in my living room like they were the HOA of my marriage, shoes off. Wine glasses everywhere, half-burnt incense making the room smell like a yoga studio after a thunderstorm. Emma looked up from her journal, yes, she was journaling, and said, "You're home early." "Yeah," I said. "It happens sometimes. I didn't think I needed to file a permit." Lisa smiled at me in the same polite but dead-inside way. People smile when they want you to disappear, but legally can't say that out loud. "We're having a grounding session," she explained. I looked at the wine bottle. "With Chardonnay?" Maya rolled her eyes. "Patriarchy jokes? Cute." "I didn't even get to the patriarchy part," I said. "That was just wine commentary." Nobody laughed. These women treat humor like it's a controlled substance. Emma walked over and whispered, "We're in the middle of something. Can you give us space? In my house? I said it with a smile, but inside I was trying to remember how divorce laws work in our state. Nora, the quiet one who always looks like she knows your secrets, leaned toward Lisa and whispered something. Lisa nodded and said out loud, "He's in resistance mode. It's normal." I blinked. Resistance mode? Am I a Wi-Fi router now? Again, zero laughter. Honestly, this group was emotionally allergic to jokes. I retreated to the kitchen and opened the fridge, staring into it like it could answer my existential questions. Later that night, Emma climbed into bed late, smelling like lavender and expensive wine. I was half asleep when she said, "Can we talk?" I should have pretended to be unconscious, but no. I sat up and said, "Sure." She crossed her legs dramatically, like she was about to lead a meditation session. "I'm realizing I've lived my life for others. For you. For my parents. For everyone. And now I'm choosing myself." "That's great," I said. "I like when you choose yourself. You're pretty cool." She didn't smile. "That's not what Leo meant." "Ah, Leo. The woodland druid who sends my wife inspirational breakup texts. What exactly did Leo say?" She exhaled dramatically. "That I'm at the beginning of my awakening arc." "Awakening arc? Are you becoming a Pokemon?" "Daniel, be serious." "I am. I'm just wondering if your next evolution requires more crystals, or if that comes later." She got that annoyed frown expression. "This is a transformation, and transformations require space." "What kind of space?" "Emotional space, mental space, maybe physical space." I stared. Physical space like separate bedrooms? Or physical space like different forwarding addresses? She hesitated, and that hesitation crawled right into my chest and made itself at home. Over the next week, she drifted in and out of the house like a ghost with a yoga membership. Less talking, less laughing, more journaling, more meetings, more phrases like, "I'm not responsible for your emotional regulation," and "I'm honoring my boundaries." She officially stopped wearing her ring. Now she walked around the house barefoot, humming like she was preparing to ascend to a higher dimension. And then the moment came when I stopped pretending not to see what was happening. One afternoon, she was in the shower. The phone was on the counter screen line, tiny preview. "Leo, it's okay if you're scared. Freedom always starts as fear." And right after, "You deserve someone who sees your evolution, not someone who slows it." I felt my whole body go cold. I didn't scroll. I didn't unlock. But honestly, I didn't need to. My wife wasn't growing. She was being coached. And I wasn't the husband anymore. I was the obstacle. That evening, after the freedom starts as fear, physical space, something inside me snapped into place. Not anger, not heartbreak, just clarity. The kind you get when someone finally turns the lights on. Emma came out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, humming some airy, self-love frequency melody that probably came from Leo's YouTube channel. I sat on the edge of the bed. "Emma," I said, "we need to talk." She froze for a moment like a deer who heard a suspicious twig crack. "Daniel, I really don't have the energy right now." "I know," I said. "That's why we're doing this now. If we wait any longer, there won't be anything left to talk about." She tightened the towel around her. "Okay, what?" I took a breath. "You're not yourself anymore?" She rolled her eyes instantly. "Wow, great start. I don't mean it as an insult, I mean it as this person you've become. This isn't you. This is Leo's vocabulary, Maya's confidence issues, and Lisa's divorce trauma stitched together into a costume." Her jaw stiffened. "They're my friends." "No," I said calmly. "Friends help you grow into yourself, not into a clone of their worldview." She looked away. "You don't understand the changes I'm going through." "Then explain them to me," I said, without buzzwords, without scripts. Just tell me what you feel. She sat down slowly, like the weight of that question pushed her. And for once, she didn't sound like a podcast. I feel stuck, Daniel. I feel like I've been living the same year on repeat. Same routines, same expectations. I kept waiting for something to change, and nothing ever did. I feel like I'm suffocating. Okay, I nodded. I hear that. I really do. But why does the solution have to be this, cutting me out? Acting like I'm the reason you can't breathe? She rubbed her temples. Because when I started going to the group, I suddenly realized how much of myself I've ignored, how much I've put on hold, and now that everything's waking up inside me, I'm terrified. Terrified that if I don't take control now, I never will. And does taking control mean losing me? She hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. I don't know what I want, she whispered. I don't know who I am. I don't know if our marriage fits into who I'm becoming. I closed my eyes for a second. There it was, the real sentence. Not I'm transforming, not I need space, not I'm honoring boundaries. The truth, she wasn't sure she wanted us in her future. I nodded slowly. Okay, I said. And are you telling me this because you truly feel it? Or because someone else told you that feeling stuck means you need to leave me? That hit her, right in the chest. I don't know, she whispered. Sometimes I think it's me. Sometimes I hear them in my head. Sometimes I hear Leo telling me I'm unlocking potential. I don't know what's mine anymore. I stood up. Not angry, just done. Emma, I love you. I've loved you for years. But I'm not going to sit here while you let other people co-author our marriage. I won't fight your friends. I won't fight your guru. And I won't fight you for a spot in your own life. Her eyes filled with panic. Daniel, please, don't walk away. I'm just confused. I'm scared. I know, I said softly. But you're not scared of losing me. You're scared of standing still, and I can't fix that for you. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. I'm not your enemy, I said. But I also won't stay somewhere I'm no longer chosen. Her lips trembled. Are you leaving me? I'm giving you the freedom you've been chasing, I said. And I'm giving myself the dignity I deserve. I grabbed my jacket. Her voice cracked. Daniel, don't do this. Please. I paused at the door. You wanted space, I said. Now you'll have it completely. And then, I'll send you the divorce papers tomorrow. Her knees buckled, like the air had been knocked out of her. But I walked out anyway, not because I didn't love her, because I finally understood. She wasn't choosing growth. She was choosing a path where I didn't fit, and I wasn't going to beg for space in a life that kept shrinking around me. It's been 6 months. My life now is quiet in a way I didn't realize I missed. No incense clouds, no late-night journaling marathons, no strangers whispering spiritual diagnoses in my living room, just peace. The regular, boring, beautiful kind. The divorce went through smoothly. There wasn't anything to fight over. She wanted freedom. I wanted sanity settlement signed, rings returned, keys traded. We haven't seen each other since the courthouse. But last week, Emma emailed me. Short message, no drama, no Leo quotes, just honesty, the kind she couldn't give me back then. She wrote, I see now that I wasn't growing. I was unraveling, and they encouraged it. She told me the rest. Stuff I hadn't known at the time. Turns out those friends of hers, not friends, not even close. Over the next few months after our divorce, a pattern emerged, one she finally pieced together. Lisa had been divorced twice. Maya was in the middle of her third breakup. Nora had a restraining order on an ex-husband she still cyberstalked. And Leo, not a guru, not a coach, not a healer, just a guy with a beard, a vague certificate he printed at home, and a hobby of playing therapist for emotionally exhausted women. The Freedom Circle wasn't a support group. It was a factory. A quiet little machine that specialized in a very specific process. Step 1. Find a woman who feels stuck or unappreciated. Step 2. Fill her with spiritual jargon about rebirth, awakening, and inner truth. Step 3. Teach her to reinterpret every normal marital conflict as oppression. Step 4. Create a villain, the husband. Step 5. Push her toward independence. Step 6. Celebrate when the marriage collapses. It gave them purpose control, revenge against their own pasts, a sense of power they never had. Emma told me she finally saw it clearly when another woman, newly married, newly insecure, joined the group. And she watched the same steps, same phrases, same manipulation happen in real time, word for word, like a script being handed off from one lost soul to the next. She said it made her sick. She left the group after that, blocked the numbers, stopped going to the sessions, stopped journaling in words she didn't understand. Her email ended with, "I'm sorry I trusted them more than I trusted you. You were the one person who never treated me like a project." I stared at that line for a long time. I didn't respond. Not because I'm angry. I'm not. I healed. I moved on. But some things don't need reopening. I hope she finds herself. The real her. Not the version they shaped out of her fears. As for me, I'm good. Better than good. There's something incredibly freeing about realizing you didn't lose your wife to a better love. You lost her to the echo chamber of insecure people who couldn't stand to see anyone happy. If you felt this story hit hard, drop a like, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps Steelheart beating.